The 2021 season ended with the Philadelphia Eagles going 9-8 and losing in the wild card round of the playoffs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tom Brady. I'm better than you.
It was the first season with head coach Nick Sirianni. It was the first full season with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. And even though they made the playoffs, questions still surround this team moving forward. Questions like, what the heck? And seriously? Hello and welcome everybody, on your phone, on your computer, on your stupid watch, wherever this stuff goes. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus, that's Kevin, and this is Shut Up Football. This week we're talking about my Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni survived his first season as head coach, and after a disastrous first press conference where he sounded a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, the team stumbled to a 2-5 start. It looked bad. Real bad. Forget the playoffs, we knew this team was rebuilding, but it didn't give a lot of confidence they'd hired the right coach. To be honest, it looked like he'd be out by the end of the season. Philly fans threw flowers at him, and though it was meant to be snarky, at least it wasn't snowballs or batteries. Part of the problem was lack of running the football. In week 3 versus the Cowboys, Miles Sanders had 2 rushing attempts. 2. I understand this is a passing league now, but you gotta run the ball somewhat to keep the defense honest, otherwise you're just one-dimensional. And to be honest, it's not like the passing game was working that well. But Sirianni course-corrected and committed to running the ball more. In fact, by the end of the year, they finished as one of the best running teams in the NFL. They started stacking wins, and they made the playoffs. Some said Coach Sirianni should have been in the conversation for Coach of the Year, but people say they've seen Bigfoot and drink Clorox. People are stupid. I saw good and bad from Coach Sirianni in year 1, and while nothing really stood out to me about his potential genius, he wasn't bad. I've seen evidence of his play calling actually being pretty good and that it just wasn't executed properly by the players, which is on the players. Except, he should have them ready to execute properly, so it's on the coach and the other coaches. So I guess it is his fault. I remain skeptical, but he made the playoffs, which is the goal, right? Philly fans are tough and we expect more, but just look to the Jaguars, Browns, Jets. There's a host of teams that are tripping over their own dongs just to get where the Eagles are. I'll take a few stumbly press conferences here and there. Maybe he's like Football Rain Man. He's not very good at conversation, but drop a box of toothpicks and he's like, this is the next Philly special. Stack those wins and you can murder the English language as much as you want, buddy. Is Jalen Hurts the starter moving forward? That was the question entering 2021. And the answer is, yeah, kinda. He had over 3,000 passing yards and led the NFL in quarterback rushing yards and touchdowns. He led them to the playoffs at only 23 years old. That all sounds good. That is to say that some of his stats look good. But watching a game was a different story. Hurts' college limitations persist in the NFL. It's not that he can't make the throw. The question is whether or not he sees the throw. Prime example on the wild card loss. Hurts had a wide open Quez Watkins deep for a touchdown. Doesn't see it. He escapes the pocket, goes for a short completion, and it's tipped. There are more examples of this throughout the season. One in particular that sticks in my head is he completed a pass over the middle in tight coverage to Dallas Goedert for the first down. Great job, he picked up the first down. But what you didn't notice was there was a wide open receiver streaking down the sidelines. Jalen Hurts didn't notice that either. That's points off the board. That's game changing. Is this fixable? Maybe, but it hasn't been. You talk about reading a defense, processing speed, and seeing the whole field. This is the knock on Jalen Hurts. They need more than Jalen Hurts at the position, and they've got 3 first-rounders this next year going into the draft. So do they use one on a quarterback? No, not in my opinion. Hurts might be limited, but he's still very talented. Use this time to build around him. Better receivers, bolster the defense. Hurts is not the weakest link on this team right now. And until he becomes so, drafting a quarterback doesn't make any sense. Don't forget, he's on a rookie deal. Unlike some teams that spent $80 Brazilian on Kirk Cousins guaranteed and didn't even make the playoffs, Jalen Hurts is and will be the quarterback for the Eagles for the next couple years. And don't come at me with that Gardner Minshew noise. I love Gardner and Green, but he's not a better option than Jalen. You're basically trying to sell me Baker Mayfield or Taylor Heineke with better swag. The Eagles need a new running back. And that is not a knock on Miles Sanders or Kenny Gainwell. I like them both. But the change in the offense when they committed to running the ball and they pounded it with Jordan Howard was obvious. They need a wrecker. Could Jordan Howard be that guy again this next year? Maybe. He's not that old. But there's other options in free agency, and there's actually a number of guys in this draft class worth looking at, because it's a specific role you're looking for. Last year, the Patriots took Ramondre Stevenson in the 4th. Back in 2017, the Seahawks took Chris Carson in the 7th. They're not the best running backs in their class, but they had massive value. Mix a guy like that into the rotation. It's like pushing a tank downhill. Wear the defense down for guys like Sanders and Gainwell to do their thing. There might be some mid-draft solutions here that could offer more upside than Howard. I like the current Eagles running backs. I even like Jason Huntley. But there's no variety. The team needs a new wham back. On 4th and inches or a goal line situations, I don't want to see Hurts or itty-bitty Gainwell smashing into the pile. Send in somebody with some girth. Devontae Smith was an obvious hit. Not much of a gamble taking a Heisman winner. I'm a big Quez Watkins fan. His stats would be even better if Hurts could see that far downfield. Maybe get him a telescope or something. Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor. I actually hate calling Reagor a bust. Howie Roseman couldn't draft a wide receiver if his life depended on it. If someone put a gun to his loved ones' heads and said, draft a great receiver, their brains would be a Jackson Pollock on the wall. Unless that's how he drafted Devontae Smith. Sleep well tonight, assorted Rosemans. There was no safer bet after Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase than Devontae Smith. Oh, but you just know Howie Roseman was itching to get Kadarius Toney. Point being, it's not Reagor's fault that Howie chose him over Justin Jefferson, or after choosing J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf. I mean, the weight of a franchise receiving core was thrust upon him. That's a bit much. Unfortunately, the ball just doesn't like his hands. You can't blame Jalen Hurts when he puts a touchdown pass right in your mittens. Catch that, man. Reagor on special teams? Nope. That didn't work either. The guy drops a lot of passes. How many? I don't actually know, because when I went to Google and typed that in, this is what popped up. Is Jalen Reagor a wide receiver 1? No, he is not. But also, and far more concerning, where is Jalen Reagor? Stay safe out there, Jalen. He needs to be shelved, and I believe he will be. They'll put him in the pantry next to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and a box of Cheez-Its. So where do they go from here? Well, Smith is the X receiver, and Watkins is in the slot. That means the role they're trying to fill is the Z. So who are some potential free agents that might fill that position? Cedric Wilson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Will Fuller, Michael Gallup? Not the most inspiring name, a bit of a who's who of who, but they would be an upgrade. But if instead they look to the draft, and I'm for it, here are some of my early favorites.
Oh, I like these guys so much.
The free agent route, though less sexy, would probably pay off a lot sooner. So while I like a lot of receivers in the draft, you probably get better immediate return from a boring free agent. I mean, let's not forget, they won the Super Bowl with Torrey Smith. Reagor will probably reemerge in 3 to 4 years like a Puxatawny groundhog for some other team. Best of luck to you on your future endeavors with the Patriots. Sadly, Zach Ertz was sent packing in 2021. He was an Eagle great. Dallas Goedert is a damn good tight end though, and they won't skip a beat with him. But now they have to reload the position. Jack Stoll was an undrafted free agent last year, and he showed out pretty well, but he's really more of a blocking tight end. I want to see more of Tyree Jackson at the position. He had some promise with his size and speed. He's a converted quarterback who ended the season on IR. He could turn into something good. That type of transformation is possible. Look to Logan Thomas as an example. But generally, it takes time. I'd like to see them get somebody more natural to the position until this gamble pays off. This draft has decent depth at the position. They could end up picking up a guy in the middle rounds. This defense needs a rebuild from top to bottom. I know they finished better than they started, but they're not great. I miss the days of a Jim Johnson defense. We don't have a Jim Johnson anymore. Who the heck are they building this thing around? I mean, their defensive leaders are getting old. Fletcher Cox is 31. Brandon Graham is 33. If I know one thing, if I know anything, it's that the Eagles refuse to invest in the linebacker position. The best they have right now is TJ Edwards, who was undrafted, and he's good. He's not athletically gifted, but he's a solid football player. But he needs help. They need to actually pony up and get some help there in the middle for him. Otherwise, they're going to remain a porous defense against the run. Help him. Help him. Outside of Darius Slay, the defensive backs are often outmatched by opposing wide receivers, and the safeties don't match well with tight ends. I don't know what they're going to do this offseason to bolster the defense. It needs a lot. At every level, they need to reload this roster and start finishing out games. That way, they don't have to put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands in the fourth quarter. I know Howie Roseman's seat wasn't really that hot last year, considering owner Jeffrey Lurie likes him. I don't know why. Maybe he's funny. But I still think he had a job-saving draft. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, and Kenny Gainwell all look like good picks. And I've heard some really good stuff about 6th-rounder defensive end Taron Jackson. He might just turn into another depth piece gem. They need another big draft in 2022. Here's their draft rundown. They've got 3 in the first round and 3 in the 5th round. 10 total picks. Don't fuck it up. Don't you do that. Don't you fuck that up. I think 2022 is going to be a very important year for the NFC East. Likely, the Washington whatever the fucks are going to find their future quarterback in the draft, maybe even the Giants, and I think the waters of competition are going to rise for the next decade. If 2023's draft is as deep at quarterback as some say it is, that's the earliest I could see them drafting another QB. And even then, he might just sit on the bench his entire rookie year, which I know is unheard of in today's NFL, and somehow that's a hot take like biscuits on gravy. When it gets closer to the draft, I'll do another video with a wish list, see if we can get really close to predicting this thing. I mean, who doesn't love watching tape on offensive linemen? Until then, go Birds, and I will see you next time. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
How do I look? You think I look stupid? Fine. I'll take them off.